Imagine a place so vast, so empty it feels like another planet. This is the Rub al-Khali, the empty quarter. It's the largest continuous sand desert in the world, stretching across the Arabian Peninsula. Picture endless dunes, some as tall as skyscrapers, sculpted by winds that haven't stopped blowing for millennia. The sun here is relentless, bleaching the sand to a pale gold and hammering down with an intensity that can make the very air shimmer. It's a landscape of brutal beauty, a place that seems to swallow light, sound, and life itself. This is a place that holds its secrets close, burying them under mountains of sand. It's a land of mirages where the line between what's real and what's imagined blurs into the horizon. Out here you feel small, incredibly small. The silence is profound, broken only by the whisper of the wind as it combs across the dune crests. Survival is a moment-to-moment challenge. Yet ancient peoples not only survived here, they thrived. They navigated this ocean of sand using the stars just as sailors navigated the seas. They built civilizations in the most inhospitable of environments, and sometimes, those civilizations vanished. They were swallowed by the very desert that gave them life, leaving behind only whispers and legends. One of the greatest of these legends is the story of a lost city, a place of fabulous wealth and power that disappeared without a trace. They call it Ubar, the Atlantis of the sands. The story goes that it was a magnificent city, a bustling hub on the ancient incense routes, rich beyond imagination. But its people grew arrogant and corrupt, and for their hubris, they were punished. The city and all its treasures were said to have been devoured by the desert, wiped from the face of the earth as if they had never existed. For centuries, travelers, explorers, and treasure hunters have heard this tale. They have stared out into the shimmering heat of the empty quarter and wondered, is it just a story? Or is there a lost metropolis, a city of pillars buried somewhere out there waiting to be rediscovered? This is more than just a treasure hunt. It's a quest to solve one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world. It's a journey that takes us from sacred texts and dusty old maps to the cutting edge of space-age technology. The story of Ubar isn't just a piece of Bedouin folklore. It has roots in some of the most important texts and documents of the ancient and medieval worlds. The most significant mention comes from the Quran, the central religious text of Islam. In Surah al-Fajr, the Dawn, it speaks of the city of Iram of the Pillars, whose people, the Ad, were punished by God for their wickedness. The verses describe Iram, with its lofty pillars, the like of which was not created in the land. The Quranic account of their destruction, a furious, screeching wind that raged for 7 nights and 8 days, perfectly matches the idea of a catastrophic sandstorm burying a city, leaving its inhabitants like hollow palm trunks. The clues didn't stop there. Ubar, or a city that fits its description, also appeared on ancient maps. The most famous of these was created by the 2nd century Greco-Roman geographer Claudius Ptolemy. On this map, deep in the territory of the Iobarite people, Ptolemy marked a place he called Omanum Emporium, or the marketplace of Oman. For centuries, cartographers and explorers believed this was a reference to the legendary city, a vital trading post located somewhere in the desolate interior of modern-day Oman. The tantalizing combination of myth, scripture, and ancient cartography made the search for Ubar an obsession for a certain kind of explorer. One of the most famous early 20th century explorers to take up the challenge was Bertram Thomas. In 1931, this British diplomat and explorer became the first European to cross the Rub al-Khali. During his perilous journey, his Bedouin guides spoke of the legendary lost city. They pointed toward the vast, empty horizon and told him tales of the road to Ubar. Another legendary British explorer, Harry St. John Abdullah Philby, also became obsessed with finding the lost city. In 1932, he launched his own expedition. But what he found was not a buried metropolis. Instead, he discovered a pair of large craters created by the impact of a massive meteorite. These early expeditions highlighted the immense challenge. The desert was not static, it was a living, moving entity. Dunes shifted, ancient landmarks were erased, and water sources vanished. Any ruins would likely be buried under hundreds of feet of sand, completely invisible to the naked eye. For decades after Philby's attempt, the quest for Ubar went cold. It seemed the legend was destined to remain just that, a legend. The technology to peer beneath the sand simply didn't exist. The search for Ubar was stalled for decades, and honestly, it seemed like an impossible task. The breakthrough, though, came not from a dusty adventurer in the field, but from a new kind of explorer who never actually set foot in the desert. In the 1980s, a documentary filmmaker and amateur archaeologist named Nicholas Clapp became absolutely fascinated by the legend. He turned to NASA and its Jet Propulsion Laboratory, or JPL. He theorized that powerful new remote sensing technology, originally designed for space exploration, could actually be used for archaeology. He was especially interested in radar imagery. Amazingly, he managed to persuade scientists at JPL to aim their powerful shuttle-mounted radar at the Arabian Peninsula. The results were honestly nothing short of breathtaking. When the radar images came back, they revealed a stunning secret hidden beneath the dunes. Faint lines, completely invisible from the ground, crisscrossed the desert. These were the ghostly tracks of ancient caravan routes, some of which converged on a single specific point in the Dhofar region of southern Oman. It was located near a known water well at a small settlement called Shisr. The satellite data provided what centuries of ground exploration simply could not: a precise target. Armed with the incredible satellite data, Nicholas Clapp assembled an archaeological team, led by Dr. Juris Zarins, and traveled to the remote Omani village of Shisr in 1991. The location was promising. It sat beside a large, partially collapsed well, the only significant water source for miles around. This alone made it a logical candidate for an ancient trading post. The team began excavating near the well, peeling back the layers of sand and thyme. It didn't take long for them to hit something solid. First came the remains of walls, then pottery shards from across the ancient world. As the dig progressed, the true scale of the site began to emerge. They uncovered the ruins of a large octagonal fortress with high walls and at least 8 prominent towers. This immediately brought to mind the Quranic description of Iram of the Pillars. The most dramatic discovery explained the city's sudden demise. The archaeologists found that the main fortress had been built directly over a large limestone cavern. Eventually, the fragile roof of the cavern could no longer support the immense weight of the fortress above it. Sometime around 300 to 500 AD, the ground gave way, and a huge portion of the fortress, including one of its main towers, collapsed into a massive sinkhole. This event perfectly matched the legend of a city that was swallowed by the earth. To understand the significance of the site at Shisr, whether it was Ubar or not, you have to understand the commodity that made it important: frankincense. This fragrant resin comes from the Boswellia sacra tree, a tough, scraggly plant that grows in the harsh, dry conditions of southern Oman. When the bark of the tree is cut, it bleeds a milky white sap that hardens into teardrop-shaped nuggets. When burned, these nuggets release a rich, aromatic smoke with notes of pine, lemon, and balsam. In the ancient world, this scent was considered divine. The Babylonians, Greeks, and Romans burned it by the ton in their temples as offerings to the gods. This immense demand, combined with its extremely limited source, made frankincense one of the most valuable commodities in the world. This incredible value gave rise to the Frankincense Trail, a network of arduous overland routes that stretched for more than 2,000 miles. Caravans of thousands of camels would transport the precious resin across the punishing expanse of the Rub al-Khali. To support this trade, a series of fortified watering holes, oases, and trading posts sprang up along the route. A place like the fortress found at Shisr would have been absolutely vital to this network. It was the perfect staging ground for caravans preparing to make the treacherous crossing. While the discovery at Shisr was a monumental achievement in archaeology, the claim that it was the legendary Ubar was met with skepticism from many in the academic community. The debate that followed was intense. Critics argued that the site at Shisr, while important, was too small to be the grand metropolis described in the legends. The ruins were those of a modest fortress or a well-defended trading post, not a sprawling city. Ultimately, the truth may lie somewhere in the middle. It's possible that over centuries the memory of this important fortified outpost was embellished and magnified. The legend became a powerful myth, but like many powerful myths, it may have been born from a kernel of historical truth. Today the site at Shisr is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, part of the land of frankincense. Visitors can walk among the excavated ruins and stare down into the sinkhole that brought the fortress to its knees so many centuries ago. The story of Ubar and the discovery at Shisr changed archaeology forever. It was a stunning demonstration of how modern technology can unlock the secrets of the ancient past. The use of satellite imagery to find buried sites is now a standard tool for explorers and scientists around the world. And so, as you stand looking out at the endless dunes of the Rub al-Khali, a landscape that seems so empty, you are left to wonder. The discovery at Shizur proves that the desert has not given up all its secrets. What other cities, what other stories, what other forgotten chapters of human history are still waiting silently under the sand for the right person, or the right technology, to bring them back into the light? The empty quarter is not so empty after all. It's just very, very good at keeping secrets.